Have you ever stared into a doll's glassy eyes and wondered if something was staring back? In the forgotten corners of Hollowmere stood Blackthorn Manor, a mansion so ancient that even the ivy choking its stone walls seemed older than memory itself. Years ago, the mansion's last occupant was Mr. Alaric, a master dollmaker. Some whispered he had been touched by genius, others by madness. They said he wept when he crafted, that he spoke to his dolls, that he fed them, and they whispered. It was here that Sophie Bennett, 22 and orphaned, inherited the last relic of her bloodline, and perhaps something far darker. The letter was simple. Come at once. The house and all within it are yours. No signature, only a wax seal pressed with the image of a weeping doll. Sophie, ever the romantic dreamer, packed her life into 2 battered suitcases. She imagined roaring fireplaces, secret passageways, the kind of life torn from old storybooks. The mansion greeted her like a corpse welcomes the grave. The air was thick with dust and memories. Paint peeled from the walls like shedding skin. Floorboards wept beneath each hesitant step. Yet, it wasn't the decay that unnerved her. It was the feeling of being watched. In the parlor, she found them, rows upon rows of antique dolls. Some perched on cracked shelves, others seated primly on moth-eaten chairs. Each wore a frozen smile. Each pair of eyes gleamed with a lifelike sheen. Among the collection sat a book, bound in cracked leather. On its cover, The Lives Within. Against better judgment, she opened the book. Pages filled with ink sketches, a woman clutching her chest in fear, a boy reaching out for help, a dog howling silently. Beneath each drawing, a name, and then she found one page blank. At the bottom, freshly inked, Sophie Bennett. That night, she awoke to the rhythmic sound of tapping against the bedroom mirror. There he stood, not flesh and blood, a figure stitched together from shadows and regret. Mr. Alaric. You opened the book, he rasped, voice a melody of broken music boxes. You must finish what you began. Sophie fled, heart hammering. Yet no matter where she ran, the kitchen, the cellar, even the attic, the dolls were there, waiting, watching. Through trembling lips, she pieced it together. Alaric had discovered a way to capture souls, a forbidden art. Every doll in Blackthorn Manor once had a heartbeat, a life, trapped now in porcelain prisons, forever. And if Sophie didn't act soon, she too would join their silent congregation. Determined, Sophie made a plan. She gathered the dolls into the grand ballroom, the heart of the house. She poured kerosene across the warped floorboards, and with tears blurring her vision, she struck a match. The flames roared to life, gnashing hungrily at velvet drapes and rotted wood. Dolls twisted in the fire, their tiny faces contorting, some with relief, others with rage. But as the inferno grew, so did the house's fury. Doors slammed shut, windows melted into mirrors, reflections twisted into mockeries of Sophie. Then, in the smoke, one doll remained untouched, small, pale, holding a scrap of parchment in its tiny hands. On the parchment, scrawled in blood, "The soul that burns the house shall take its place." Sophie screamed, but no sound left her lips. Her body collapsed, lifeless, as the fire consumed it. Her soul, tethered to the tiny doll, now stared helplessly through painted eyes. Morning came. The townspeople, drawn by the smoke, found Blackthorn Manor reduced to ash and soot, all except one thing: In the ruins stood a single doll, pristine, untouched by flame, a beautiful little figure with wide, terror-filled blue eyes. They placed her in the local museum, a curiosity. The miracle doll, they called her. Children pressed their faces to the glass case, giggling. Not one of them noticed the tiny tears staining her porcelain cheeks. They say the eyes are the windows to the soul. But in Hollowmere, the souls are still waiting, still watching, and still whispering for someone to set them free.